What's up, guys? I've already found some promising evidence in this brand new area way back in Timbuktu, and that looks like a Sasquatch structure, you know, stuff that they do. It's kind of a blind. Not very many people up here. A few people camping down the way, but I thought this was pretty cool. I just don't, and I'm not too far off the road right now. I just happen to look up and see this in through the trees. But this looks like typical stuff that they do. But we'll continue on. I got a few places I got to hit today. As I want to point out, there's these great big leaners that are leaning up into the tree there. And they didn't even come from here. Neither one of those came from here. Those huge logs were dug in and placed up into that tree. Kind of a half-cocked X, it looks like, maybe. And right here is a big cleared out seating area is what it looks like. And it's right near that structure I was just at. And the road is just right there. But again, I'm up in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's pretty secluded out here. There's I think there's a big ranch or something. There's some private property. I think that lake might even be private. It's not surprising to me. But then you got all this busted and shattered into one side. But this is interesting right here. And you got these leaners that come up into here, jetting straight up into that tree. And these trees didn't come from here. That's wild. Pretty juicy stuff, guys. So I'm back checking out another area. There's a lot of moose back here. I'm hearing like this is a trail and everything, but there's I just passed the only people that were back here on the trail. And I was like talking to them for a minute, just like right back over here. And they're like, well, we didn't see any moose or anything. And then this really big dog barking started happening back this way. It sounded like a big dog or something, echoing. And they just stopped talking. Okay, we'll see you later. Like, they took off. Like, they got freaked out about it or something. I got my 10mm on me. I just hope I ain't got to use it. But I wonder what that was. It barked a few times, just really loud, deep bark. And I'm just wondering what. And this little trail, little ATV road, gate's closed off to it, but it goes way further back than I ever want to walk. You gotta be on an ATV. But that barking, and it didn't come back. It's just there's no more barking. It's just that's it. Probably a freaking dog, man. Well, I know Sasquatch will bark like a dog. Sasquatch will do the same thing. And people don't realize that or don't understand that. They do bark like dogs. And I've had it happen before. And sometimes it sounds just like a dog. A big dog. Woo, 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 woo. And then usually, if it's a dog, they usually continue barking or whatever, you know what I mean? Because they're barking at something. But usually the dog will bark, but then go away. Like this one did. A couple of fairly deep barks. That was it. But I'm a little bit nervous back here. I don't know. Something making me feel unwelcome back here? I don't know. pretty sure I heard a wood knock too a little bit ago. The moose, they love this stuff right here. They love all that. I don't know. I got my 10mm on me though. So if there's something mean out here, I don't want to. That dog barking again. There's an old knockdown structure or something right here is what it looks like. I'm not seeing too much in the way of evidence, but I do see something that looks kind of like a footprint. It kind of stepped in some of that poop right there. It kind of comes around this way. Looks like they were headed off over this way. And I'm wondering if the Sasquatch or bad Sasquatch in this area. I'm just not. Usually you find more evidence, you know, coming up into the woods and whatnot when you find the good Sasquatch. But there's these leaners right here in pairs going up into the tree. That's a typical Sasquatch stuff that they do, you know. But it sure looks like an old structure that was there. And I'm out here alone. The people I talked to, they were the last ones. I'm out here alone. It's a bit eerie. It's really hard to see into this forest. I'll probably go up a little bit more. I'm trying to look for evidence, look for sign. You know, I have a feeling maybe there's bad Sasquatch in this area. Usually whenever you run into areas they've got bad Sasquatch, you don't tend to find much for evidence. It's like they really don't leave anything behind. Unlike the good Sasquatch, you know, they make X's and stuff like that. I haven't even seen an X. So I don't know, maybe this is the bad guy's area. Just really got to watch my back. I don't want to be a missing 411. But we're going to go up a little bit further and look. I'm not in a heck of a mood to walk that far today. But it's kind of weird that I'm not seeing much evidence because we're even further back, you know, we're way back in Timbuktu. And what is that? That's not an X, guys. That was just in front of me. I'm trying to find it. A stump, maybe. I can't stand the fact that it focuses on the lens in front. It's probably just a stump. They're back here though, guys. It's just a matter of finding some of that evidence, you know, and pinpoint kind of where they hang out. Which I'm not finding too much evidence, which leads me to believe that the Sasquatch here are not entirely nice. Which sucks. I'm going to walk up here a little bit further. I have some more areas I'm checking out today too, so I don't want to spend all day back in here. I'll have to come back here with somebody that can come with me. I wish I had a full-time guy that came back, that could come with me, you know. That could commit to coming back here with me, because it's better to have two guys or so, you know. Here's some evidence right here. This is probably a second piece of evidence. This has to do with the structure type of deal. These are pretty long, fairly heavy logs. This is it's pretty interesting here. It looks like maybe some of it got torn down or whatever. But they always got one long one that comes off to the side, and none of these came from here. So that was a pretty interesting little setup. Huh. Again, that's just what they do. I love seeing it. Okay guys, this is what I'm talking about. We got an X going on here with your typical that goes through the middle. This area is full of those type of X's. You got an X running through the middle. Again, that side of the tree, that's the top part of the X is on that side, the bottom part's on this side. It's this will be the first X that I found in this area, in this whole area, which is not surprising because, like I said, I think we're getting into the good Sasquatch area, because I think these represent the good Sasquatch, and they start making all kinds of structures like this, and this seems to be the only one in this area. I kind of looped and swept around this whole area, and this is the only one that I see. And you get back just in there, it's so thick you can't walk in there. It goes from this to really thick. So, which is wild. What's that? I don't know, my camcorder won't let me see. There's something black there. It could be burnt piece of tree or something, or it could be something peeking at me. I don't know. And a button here. Wonder if I can I wonder if this will work for me. It did work. It focused on where I need to focus in at. Cool. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was just put my thing in manual, my focus in manual, and it kind of focused in on it. But anyway, yeah, finally ran into some structures. A cool X. And one through the middle of the X. Sometimes it's sitting on the top, sometimes it's tucked in like that. And the top part's on this side of the tree, on the other side, and the bottom part's on this side of the tree. It's the same characteristics, but it's wild, you know, all that country that I just explored. There's not much in the way for structures, which leads me to believe that those are the bad Sasquatch, because I noticed bad Sasquatch, you ain't got that much for structures. You run into the good Sasquatch, you run into loads of this stuff. Very juicy. Nice little spot. We're going to come back to a new spot. Checking out a bunch of new areas. My areas are extremely limited because everything's private property. It sucks bad. Hope I don't run into a moose like I did yesterday, because this moose might not be as nice if I run into another one. I'm not seeing. Oh my God, look at this root ball. Boom. Huge tree fell. What is the size of that? Massive tree went down right here. Wow. the size of that. Man, that's massive. Well, we're going to investigate a little bit. You know, if you don't usually start seeing something within a couple of 100 yards, you're probably not. Because Sasquatch are everywhere. Wherever they go, they're going to leave some sort of sign behind. And such as brakes, rubs, leaners, whatever, you know. If you don't start seeing much of that, the chances are you're in a bad Sasquatch area, or you're just in an area they move through and they don't really bother doing too much. The whole goal was to start finding those structures, because if you find the structures, that's where they're at. That's their area. So that's it. It's in the ground. Dang it. But and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm exploring a lot of new areas today. Trying to see if we can see any other areas where they hang out, so I can come back to them. See if you get interaction or anything. I think that was a spider. But I kind of hope we run into something. I don't know yet. I haven't seen any breaks. I haven't seen nothing. We're in a pretty remote area. Again, you really don't have to go to a very remote area. It's just, that's the way my area is. It's just kind of remote anyway. But I can see there being loads of moose. Okay, so I found more sign. Here's a bend that comes up and over. It wasn't this tree that did it, because if it, just by how that tree had fallen, there'd be no way that it would grab this tree because of the way this tree was standing. You understand what I'm saying? And just how that's completely tucked up under there. That just looks like a tall tale bend to me. And don't get me wrong, I could be wrong, but it could be a natural thing. But those trees have been laying there a while, you could tell. But we're getting into an area back here. It's just incredibly thick. Makes me nervous because of the moose. I'll walk up on a moose, you know. And I'm the only one back here. Look at this shit that people do. This pisses me off. Like, please stop throwing your trash on the ground. These tourists come up into these areas and they're bad about that. They want to see this beautiful country, but they contribute to trashing it. And it's sickening. I gotta proceed with caution because there could be anything sitting next to me, you know. And it's funny too, that bend back there, that bend was pointing at water too, so I don't know the odds of that or what. But yeah, these tourists come back here and because this is a pretty well-used trail, but although I am the only one up here today, which is weird because there's usually always people on all these trails, you know. Oh look, there's another bend. Wow. There's an area that looks all stirred up right here. There's another bend that's tucked up under there. Tucked up underneath this tree. And this bend is also pointing towards water. There's definitely squatch out here, you know what I mean? And that's an old tree too, man. That fell a long time ago. Something took that fresh tree and pulled it down underneath, you know what I mean? Here's another bend used on an old tree. You see how this bend does? Comes down, gets wrapped around, bring back up, and swings back this way. A live tree. And swings back this way. Bends down that way. That tree fell long ago, and it wouldn't, if it was to take that tree down with it, it wouldn't be wrapped, it wouldn't have wrapped itself in there like that. Something with hands took and manipulated and wrapped that in there like that. That's pretty juicy, guys. I'm going to head back to the truck and go to my other spot that I've never been to before. Here's some more sign that Sasquatch have been through here. I got this leaning from here, leaning up onto this, and this is coming down onto that, and then another one leaning back up this way. Some kind of visual communication, you know what I mean? I'm not finding a hell of a lot of evidence today. It's really kind of strange. But there's some really good spots, and it's not much in the way of any real good evidence. Well, this is just part. That's why they call it investigating and researching, you know. You gotta go back and check it out, see what you can find, you know. Holy hell, guys, look at that. Those are made out of some really big logs. That's crazy. That's amazing. That's good. 10 foot off the ground or so, I'm going to say. Huge structure. I mean, they took this tree, this huge main beam, and they laid it into that tree right there. Then they started stacking all of this stuff up into it. Wow. Well, that's cool. I guess I found one of their little spots, man. I think it's got to be some kind of blind or something, you know. And then you got a whole stack of them elevated coming this way. That's crazy. Man, I was just about ready to turn around and go back because I wasn't finding any evidence really, you know. It's crazy. I'm not finding much evidence up in these areas. Well, this is definitely on a pretty massive scale, you know what I mean? I mean, a lot of strength, maybe even a little bit of height to get that up in there. Oh, this tree right here, the main one, I didn't see that, but it forks. It forks at the top there. You see that? It's just leaning in on that, all forked. And all these branches have been busted off on it. And then you got these two that are wedged in here. Huh. Well, they're back here. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, you know, finding this kind of evidence. And getting this kind of evidence and whatnot. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Because, you know, because I'm walking on this trail, and again, I'm the only one back here. I don't know, the tourists, I guess, went home. I mean, it's kind of nice, but, you know, look at how high that is. That's insanity. And the ground is just kind of messed up around here, too. See what I mean? How that's a fork and it's been laid into this tree. And then they made all this. They just leaned all these up. It's kind of like a half shelter kind of thing. And these Sasquatch, man, that's what they do. I try to tell this to people. A lot of people won't listen. They're just like, oh, you know, Sasquatch don't make structures. The hell they don't. They have hands. They have a culture. They have a visual language out there for others to See, it means something to others. Oh, look, and it's funny. There's a log right here that's coming off of this old stump, and that's laying right on top of that too. Looking up the trail, and there's this leaner right in the middle of the trail, leaning up against this tree right here. This is also something else Sasquatch is known to do, is put these leaners up, or they'll put, this ground is really difficult to put anything in, but they're known to do this kind of thing right here too. And I don't see a person coming along and going out of their way with a tree that big, and they got to conserve energy on walking back into this savage, beautiful place. And this trail goes miles and miles, and I promise you I am not going that far today back in this trail. Well, that sure was a massive structure I found back there, huh, guys? And I was just kind of right next to the big structure I found. It was kind of odd. Juicy! There's some strangeness right here. You got this old root system that's been sitting here, right? You got a stick that's placed in between there. You got a bunch of little sticks that are placed up in here. And you got a huge chunk of log that's been set up on that. That's been set up onto that old piece like that. You see that? That's wild. Yeah, you got all these little guys just sat up in here. This leaning here, this there. Like, what purpose is that? What in the world are they trying to say to each other out here? And that's wild, because where they did it at, it's kind of like marking an area, a pathway right through here. It cuts off, and it cuts off that way. Oh, right next to that, you got this leaner that's just sitting there. Wow. That is very juicy. So, I came upon this little shack. I don't know, but I think at one time somebody was staying here. All the way back here. It blows my mind. There's a piece of a broom. There's like a piece of a rug. And there's even a little fireplace in there. And there's some more trash right here. Water bottle and stuff. This is really weird. Like, who would take the time and energy to build something like this just to have it abandoned? Or they got chased out by something? I don't know. I was looking back here and I thought it was a slash pile until it looked kind of weird to me. Now, I'm not saying Sasquatch did something like this. That's just weird. There's some kind of hobo living back here. You know what I mean? Like, what in the hell? Like, seen something. Well, that's nothing. But, that right there is some strangeness, you know what I mean? I mean, granted, it's been there a while. And this is the back side of it, it's all closed off. I mean, granted, this is stuff that Sasquatch will do. They'll make these, maybe a Squatch made this and somebody came along and it was just like hanging out in it. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff integrated in that. That's strange to me. I mean, this far back into the woods, I mean, I'm gonna walk back here. Weird. It looks like I've got another X structure going on right here. Typical. I got a fork in it. But that's another X structure. I haven't found too many of those today. That's pretty awesome. This is right near that huge, massive structure. structure, that massive half structure. Sorry, I can't talk. But it's really cool. Typical. And again, the top side's on this side of the tree, the bottom side's on this side of the tree. Same characteristics. Look at this huge bend. This huge bend that I found right here. Look at this. It comes underneath of this and goes on that side of that tree right there. Wow, that's incredible. Looks like a possible X back here. Man, it's thick back here. Look at this. It's like a blind or something right here. And it looks like a game trail. Look at this. It's been set up and placed in like a blind. And that big old bend, that points towards water too. Holy crap. Really thick back here. Okay, we're gonna move up. I kind of made that quick because I'm sitting right in the middle of the road. Oh, and look at this right here. Look at this tree, just happened to be snapped off of that. And how it got behind this tree and in front of that one and is laying completely off the ground. How does that just naturally happen? There's no way. It'd have to come back 3 feet this way and wedge itself in there. That's really juicy, guys. And I'm not that far off the road either. Okay. I just wanted to show you guys this thick, deep, dark forest. I'm not seeing anything in the way of like structures immediately, but this is a prime area for Sasquatch, guys. Look at this little X just right here on top of the rock. That's the kind of stuff that they do. Yeah, just kind of, this is one of the thicker forests, and as you can see, there's like no ground vegetation. There's just these thick, man, we're miles and miles back here into the woods on a really crummy dirt road. I don't really see too much in the way of like structures and stuff, but it's getting dark on me. It's just out in the middle of nowhere out here. And who knows how far it goes down like this, you know. Anyways, it's almost dark. It's getting late, and I'm gonna try to make it to one more spot.